What's going on, everybody? Roger's based here, and I honestly still can't believe the words that are about to come out of my mouth, but Nintendo flew me to Japan for an exclusive tour of the Nintendo Museum that's opening in Kyoto. And now I get to take you all with me. So today we'll be trying out tons of unique play experiences available here at the museum, from making our own Hanafuda cards to playing a real-life Pokemon Stadium minigame with Ultra Hand, and so much more. I'll share info on all the exhibits you can expect to see, give a full rundown of the exclusive merch in the museum store, and there's so much to see and do here, so let's not waste any more time. Let me show you what the Nintendo Museum is all about. So first things first, I want to start by explaining the overall layout of the museum. Once you scan your QR code and pick up your play ticket, you'll notice that there are basically these two big buildings that are connected by this beautiful Nintendo-themed courtyard, complete with Game Boy cartridge-themed storage lockers, Game Boy umbrella locks, a Kirby vending mouth vending machine, and they even have a special Pikachu Pokemon manhole cover in here as well. This building's first floor is also home to all of those unique play experiences. I'd actually recommend starting here because the Hanafuda rooms are both a separate paid experience you're going to have to reserve a time slot for in advance, but also act as a great introduction. Fuda Playroom is 500 yen per person, usually takes about 30 minutes for the full experience, and the Make Your Own Hanafuda card craft room is 2,000 yen per person, takes about an hour, and you get to keep the cards you make at the end of all of it. I actually had a ton of fun painting my own Hanafuda cards. When you arrive for your session, the staff is going to ask you to choose your favorite pattern out of the 12 months, hand you a little kit with that month's 4 cards in it and some stencils, and then they're going to sit you down at a table that has all the crafting supplies that you'll need. They also have these cute little sleeves and bibs to put over your clothes in case you spill paint on yourself, which thankfully I did not. Again, you get to keep the cards you made at the end of all of it, and they come in this cute little foldable carrying case too, so if you're looking for a unique souvenir from the museum, this might be the way to go. Who had never played Hanafuda prior to our lesson, and she actually ended up beating me on the first try. Now, that could just be that I am bad at the game. The room is just overall a great vibe. You play on tatami mats, the walls are decked out with this beautiful art. It's just overall really, really nice, and I would say, again, a great way to start your museum experience. Now, making our way downstairs from the Hanafuda rooms, we have the Hatena Burger Cafe. Here you can build your custom burgers using a variety of different meats, sauces, and ingredients. They've got vegetarian options like mushroom burgers, and they also have preset burger combos for people who might just be overwhelmed with the choice. Now, I went with the wasabi beef burger with coleslaw on the side, and it was fine, but it had less of a wasabi kick and actually tasted more like a garlic soy sauce burger. Said, if you're gonna order one thing from the cafe, make sure to get the green tea float. It was creamy, it had the perfect amount of sweetness, and it matched the gorgeous Zelda stained glass. Now, onto the main event, the exhibition building. This is the place you're gonna be spending most of your time during your visit, and right from the get-go, it oozes personality, charm, and history, as well as a few notable now third-party titles as well. Nice to see you, Banjo. But the massive second floor exhibit that chronicles the history of Nintendo and its systems is without question one of the absolute best things about the museum and is worth the trip alone. I spent 5 hours of my tour just in this one room alone. Also physically showcase nearly every single special edition of every system that they ever made. Remember the weird tribal tattoo Mario GBASP or the orange Naruto GBASP? They're here. How about the Panasonic Cube GameCube that played DVDs? It's here. What about the weird Famicom Network System bundle that let users place bets on horse races all the way up until the service shut down in 2015? That system is here. And there are so many more toys on display than I ever even knew existed. And again, they remind you time and time again for Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Animal Crossing, Star Fox, Metroid, Kirby, Pikmin, Wario, Fire Emblem, and Pokemon. But we still have so much more to talk about. Upon entering the museum, the ticket is loaded with 10 coins. Each of the interactive exhibits usually cost 1 to 2 coins to play, and once you've used them up, you can't buy more. Thankfully, I got to try all of the interactive exhibits during my visit, so you can decide after watching my video. However, I'm gonna make a few suggestions. So first, I'm gonna start with the ones if you're running low on coins. The Love Tester SP, for example, tests compatibility between two people by having you hold hands and play minigame, which runs you through a challenge gauntlet that feels a lot like the Nintendo World Championships game. The next category I'm gonna dub the leftover category, meaning if you have leftover coins, first there's the Game & Watch SPs, which only cost 1 coin each, and basically you just stand in front of a screen and play Game & Watch games using your shadow. And unfortunately, I don't have any video footage of me playing, but I enjoyed it. Another game that falls in this category is Shigurei-den SP. For the game, you're basically given a smart device and thrown on a floor with projected tanka poem halves. You're told to search for the matching half of the poem, which is relatively easy to do because you just need to find one with a matching picture, but things can get pretty frantic in the latter half. This one's really fun with the group. And finally, the last interactive exhibit that I'd put in this category is Zapper and Scope SP. This is basically the light gun game Laser Clay that Nintendo used to develop in the 70s, but set in the world of Super Mario, where you blast away Goombas and Koopas using either a zapper or a super scope. This one is also super fun in a group because you can snipe other people's targets, and if you're a big light gun fan, then I'd probably bump this up to a must play. Feel unique enough that they can only be experienced at the Nintendo Museum, and I feel like they should be your biggest coin priority. The first of these must-play interactive exhibits is Ultra Hand SP. Now I'm going to start with this one because I do think mileage could vary, and if you don't have enough time to practice extending and grabbing with the Ultra Hand, you might end up getting frustrated, but if you actually do manage to get the hang of things, it is a ton of fun. Using the Ultra Hand, players reach out for Voltorbs, Electrodes, and Pokeballs that roll down the lanes, and for every ball that you manage to drop into a pipe, you'll get points, and Pokemon-themed fireworks will erupt on the screen above. The game was blasting the gold and silver soundtrack in the background, and it really felt like you were playing a real-life Pokemon Stadium minigame with the Ultra Hand. I cannot recommend this one enough for any Pokemon fans out there. Another must-play that was actually shown off in the Nintendo Museum Direct is Ultra Machine SP. In this one, you're going to step into differently themed batting cages and try to hit 20 balls that are pitched at you by Nintendo's titular Ultra Machine toy from 1968. For every ball you manage to hit at a specific piece of furniture in the batting cage, you'll get a 1-up, and that 1-up will grant you an extra ball so you can then boost up your score at the end of the game. Each of these rooms is distinct, and discovering each of the little Easter eggs in each of the rooms is going to make you want to play again and again. Among the batting cages that I actually got a chance to try, I found references to tons of Nintendo games, from Splatoon to Earthbound to Pikmin, and I'm sure there were still lots more that I need to discover. And finally, last but not least, my absolute favorite of the interactive exhibits, and one I honestly feel you should save at least 4 of your coins for, is Big Controller. Now, in the Big Controller room, there's basically giant-sized versions of the Famicom, Super Famicom, Nintendo 64, Wii remotes, and a Wii balance board. And you basically play these interactive mini-games with one other person on these giant controllers. Usually one person controls the actual movement, and the other person controls the buttons, or in the case of the Wii remote, one person holds the top of the Wii remote, the other person holds the back. And every single one of these big controller games was so much fun. It's such a simple concept. Let's just make the controllers big and have 2 people play on it, but it really does breathe new life into these old games. And I easily would go back time and time again, specifically for this one exhibit room. In the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé, my body is ready. Let's go. Yes. Oh, one. Here we go. Forward. There we go. Woo! Focus on the 7. We got it. Yes, let's go! And while I don't know the exact coin amount for this room once it ends up opening to the public, it was 2 coins when I was there per game. So again, you're gonna wanna save at least 4 of your coins for this room to play at least 2 of the big controller games. Now you're gonna start to see why I said you gotta save those coins and conserve them, because there's a lot of stuff to do, and you only have a limited amount of time, and you only have a limited amount of coins, and you can't refill your player card with more. The only other way to play more of them would be to actually come back to the museum again. Let's see. 69, nice, very good. Because if you're a Nintendo fan, you're most likely going to want to spend all your real-life coinage at the Nintendo Museum store. There are also blind boxes available with Nintendo Museum themed magnets, controller keychains, gorgeous Hanafuda card sets, and some really cool homeware such as glasses, plates, and bags. However, the creme de la creme of the merch store has gotta be the giant controller body pillows. There are Famicom, Super Famicom, N64, and Wii Remote pillows that you can buy, and while most of the media attending the preview resigned themselves to the fact they wouldn't be able to fit them in their suitcase, I personally took on the challenge and got myself a Wii Remote. Everybody keeps asking me how I'm planning on getting this giant Wii Remote back to Los Angeles. The answer is, I don't know, and I don't care. It's a problem for future Roger. It's gonna happen. You're gonna see this on my bed in future videos. Massive thank you once again to Nintendo for this amazing experience, flying me out to Kyoto, letting me visit the Nintendo Museum early. It has been an absolute blast, and there's more Nintendo Museum content coming from me. I have a whole video about 64 things you need to know if you're gonna come visit the Nintendo Museum. Look forward to that next week, and until then, I'll talk to you guys later. Nakama!
30秒でわかる英語解説。本編で出てきたちょっと難しい英語や補足が必要かなと思った言葉をわかりやすく解説します。このコーナーではそういったものの説明をいたします。
Prediction 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 Overwhelmed Peeled Peeled Priority Sneak up Sneak up
それではまた次回海外にきたちの反応集でお会いするのだ。